Hi, I'm Shauna from the Polymer Garden. Today I'm going to show you how to make swirls. Now there's no special technique or trick on making these, it just takes a little patience. Now many people make swirls. They probably do it in many different ways. I am only going to show you how I make them. And if it's exactly like somebody else does it, I have no idea. This is only to show you how I did it. Now, these are some of the, well, I didn't show you this in the last video, but these are the ones, the Scrapscapes I made in my previous video. Now they are on the thin side. They are just a hair under a millimeter thick. I like working in thin sheets. I've just been doing it for so long. I just know how to do it, and it just feels right to me. If you like working in a thicker sheet after you make the Scrapscape, because they will come out probably a little thin, you can back your sheet first. So what you're going to need is a veneer. It doesn't have to be a Scrapscape or anything, anything with a nice pattern on it. Actually, I'm going to work on this. Which one am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to do this one. I've been warming this up a little bit before I started recording, because you want your clay to be fresh and not too stiff. Now I'm also going to take this off of here and burnish it again a little bit to get the clay moving again, to help get it moving so I don't have any cracking or splitting while I'm trying to swirl it. Now this is my burnisher. People have been asking where I got it. The company that I bought it from doesn't have them anymore. I've tried. But I've heard people call it a coffee tamper. It looks curved on the bottom, but it's actually flat. Just the edges are curved here. So if anybody knows of a place where I can get these exact ones, please let me know, and I will put a link so people can find it. But if you can't find these exact one, just a regular coffee tamper that's just flat on all sides works fine. Because sometimes I use the curve, but really not that often. So I'm just going to burnish this down to help warm it up with my hands too. I'd also like another one because I dropped this one and now it rattles and it's just driving me crazy. So. Okay. Oh, see, that's not good. See, if I tried to swirl that, that wouldn't be good. But let's try to get this down even now. Other things you can use for a burnisher are a spoon, a bone folder, which was here a minute ago, anything just really, bottom of a glass, anything with a fairly flat surface that you can just push down. Now I'm going to clean off this edge here. Save that for something else. Come on, don't stick. There we go. Now, I'm going to cut a wedge. Just starting here. And here. Oh, of course. Well, that's good because I can show you how to do that. Fix that. And another one, but that's okay. Show you how to fix that. and set that over to the side, and put that down a little bit, and over here. Probably should just cut another one, but you might have the same problem, so I should show you how I deal with that. And I just spot. See, this sheet probably sat too long. There we go. And we're going to leave it there. Just get it nice and straight, well, as straight as you can. And then just tap it down to the sheet. Now you're going to also need a piece of solid color clay. I like black. I like a little black in everything I do. You can use any color, a color that goes with the sheet you just cut. Gold, anything that works. You're just trying to separate the just trying to separate the pattern. As you swirl, it just separates the pattern so it's more defined as a swirl. But you don't have to. This one has a very thin line. You can hardly see it, but it does help separate, and that you can see the pattern going around in a circle. So first you got to give yourself a nice even edge. And to cut, so you can see the size of the strip you're cutting. You can do it thin or thick, but you can see if you're cutting it even by laying your blade down like so. Then flip it up and cut straight down. Doesn't always work, but now I pulled away and you can see it's still stuck to my blade. Now, then I just bring it over and push it against the clay, turn it forward, and then pull back. Now I have a nice little line there. And flip it around like so. So the edge right here is covered too. If it doesn't go all the way around, just cut another piece and cover that edge. So now we get that, pull that away. And now I'm going to burnish it again. Again, I use the waxy side, goes down, just because my burnisher glides better on the unwaxy side. Some people like doing it the other way, but I can't get my burnisher to really glide easily. Well, I think I cut that just a little bit too thick. I wasn't wearing my magnifying glasses when I cut it. So I'll try to trim that off, but this is where I usually mess up. Hey, I did a good job. Okay. Now, get it off the table, and I'm going to start to swirl. Let me get you right in the camera. And you want to swirl and keeping the black line on the outside, because when you come to the end, if you keep it on the outside of the swirl, you'll automatically have your outline. And there's no trick to this. You just start to twirl it. Some people will take it in their hands and start to twirl it, but I do it on my table. A little help from the needle tool, and I just get that starting to twirl like so. And this is where the patience comes in. Patience comes in. Just keep getting it to twirl like so. Now the outside edge is where needs to be longer than the inside edge, and you will see as I go that it starts to stand up like this. See how it's standing up here? I just start to tap it down, and I go a little bit more. Don't need that anymore. And I tap it down, and I just keep sticking it down to the table as I go. Tap, tap, tap. And tap, tap, tap. Round and tap, around and tap. And that's all there is to it. You just take your time, keeping an eye out for any splits along the way. But I think it helps to have that outline on the outside as you're twirling, because that's a solid piece, and obviously the veneer was a whole bunch of slices. It helps to have it sealed. And now you'll find that as you're getting to the thicker part of your wedge that you cut, it gets a little bit more difficult to start to swirl. So you just have to do it smaller sections and get down there. And you see how it's standing up like that as I swirl? Just tap. See how it stands up? And now when I'm tapping, I'm actually stretching that outside to make it stretch. Just keep going. Just keep going, going. Sorry. I was just watching Dory. Oh, and there I have that split that I had earlier. But it will seal up as I go. But we have to be very careful as I go, because if I pull it from here as I'm trying to go around, I'm going to rip it. And then this, I just keep, I do stretch right here at the end. Oh, there we go. Shoot. Okay. See how I got a split right there? Let me get that back. And I'll burnish that right away before I keep going. And then I will stretch this little corner down to go. And it's a little bumpier on the edge, so I'm just going to use my fingernail and go around like that. And just keep tapping. Now we have a pretty little swirl. Oh, what is that in there? Okay. Now, now I'm going to burnish the whole thing. Like so. I can feel that's nice and flat. And voila! A nice swirl. As you see, it is very thin. and it's a little, not quite circle, so I will stretch it. And then I bake it on something I have that's slightly curved. You could bake it flat, but after it's baked, then that's when I take it out. I will glue with super glue a jump ring, like right here. Then put liquid clay over the whole thing and back it with the same thickness, maybe a little thicker. I usually use like a 7 or 8, probably about a 7 on my Dream Machine, which is the same thickness as 1 revolution on my Lucy Clay slicer. And then bake it again on the same curved surface that I used to bake the front of it. And then I have, and the thickness of my final piece is, if I could read this thing, 2.5, almost 3 millimeters thick. That's about the thickness that I make my earrings. Now, if you want to, if you want to make this swirl, let's use this sheet to do this. Now, I'm not going to swirl the whole thing because it's the same process. I'm just going to show you how you set it up to do it. Let me burnish that to get it moving. I'm gonna cut a wedge here. And then make sure that's still on the camera, probably not. Okay, and I'm just gonna mark that. Set that off to the side for a second. And of course I can't see where I marked that. So let's put that back again. From there to there. We have 2 pieces. Let me get this out of the way so I get it in the shot for you. Oh, shoot, I just tore that. I'll fix that later. Put that piece there. And that piece there. And I blend those together. Now, when I cut my strip, oh, I gotta cut a straight edge again. Oh, sorry, I hit the camera. That's a little thick. get the idea. I would normally be working straight overhead. No. Yes, it's very difficult to do with the camera in my way. But you get the idea. So you have, you see here, you start there and it gets bigger and bigger, and it gets smaller and then smaller, and that's how you get this swirl without having the big end like that. So I guess that's it. That's how I make the swirl. The backs are very self-explanatory. You just, like, I glued this jump ring here, cover it and put liquid clay and just put the backing on it. Oh, it's more clay. And then just baked it again, and I put the ear wire on and I'm done. So I think that's it. If you have questions, I'll answer them on YouTube or Facebook. Thanks for watching.